All right, today is our makeup class from January for our 4th week of our winter semester, and it does not feel like winter anymore. It is about 65 degrees out. It is absolutely stunning. How lucky. So wrapping up winter, next week we'll be starting our spring semester, but oof, what a way to kick things back off. Hi friends, welcome to the 4th and final week of Winter Builders here at Spark Nature. Today was all about using our imaginations to build a magical fairy village. Come along as we first forage the land for natural materials.
Here's another good spot, guys. Look what we have here. All these old canes, right? These dried grasses, guys, are really good rope. And when it's not actually rope, we call it cordage. You can make it into like a little thing like that too.
We descended down to the stream, which was flowing strong from all the recent snowmelt. It was amazing to stand there with the warm sun on our faces. Along the way, the children gathered pieces of wood, pine cones, sticks, and other interesting treasures to use in their creative builds. Then we stopped at the cove for a morning gratitude meditation.
Like those plants that are waking up, we saw chives and skunk cabbage. Maybe you notice some buds on those trees, your finger buds out there. Collect some of that sunshine, bring it back into your body, that sun energy.
Then we headed back to the studio, laid out the wide array of materials, and even added some special treats like acorns, seashells, and dried flowers before setting off to create.
All right, guys. So here's our fairy creation zone. And as I said before, it could be a fairy, it could be a dragon, it could be a character you're trying to do. This little guy. So it could be whatever fairy you choose to be. I chose to put a tail on this. So look, you can. This could be your body. This could be your head. I turned one into, where'd he go? My hat guy. Yeah, I turned it into a little hat for him on top of an acorn. He's got moss hair. I saw some of you guys collecting moss. You guys could even make the pine cone as a body. We have our natural cones here. We have a bunch of the redwood cones. They make a nice little hat. And then for the arms, if you don't want to do sticks, I put some string on. It's just 3 little knots. You tie a string around the base stick, and then you make 2 little knots for hands. And then Avani was really interested in the wand, so I made this guy with a little wand. He's got a bead, so he's got a silver wand. Yeah, he's got a tail I put on there, and just for the legs to make him sit up on the table. And if your guy doesn't have to stand or sit or be in whatever position, when you go out and put it in the woods, you can kind of tuck up some other stuff around it too.
Bark, and what I'm doing is turning it into the outside of the house. I cut out little windows, and then I framed out the windows. What this is gonna do is it bends a little bit. I'm gonna just stick it into a tree so it looks like somebody lives there. I'm decorating the door. I'm gonna make little tables, little chairs.
The children absolutely loved this project and dove right in. We usually see a great level of engagement, but this was next level. They ran with the ideas and created some spectacular pieces, characters, doors, wreaths, and furniture. Everyone seemed to be in a real flow state, including the teachers.
The most fun is gonna be after lunch. We're gonna add these into the trees, and then it becomes like a lot.
Before we set out to place the finished pieces all around the property, we took a step back to really admire the incredible level of imagination. Each piece handcrafted and built with love, attention, and detail.
Amazing to see how creative you became when just using items you foraged with. Twigs, acorns, pine cones. I saw tree bark. I saw pine needles. I saw evergreen leaves. I saw flowers that were dried. Yeah, everyone got so creative and made so many unique things from here. You did not need to draw these things. You just used your imagination and your intuition. You just figured it out and you made it. That kind of creating is so magical to see, and it didn't look like anybody was out of ideas, right? We just kept making it. Yeah, and we could probably make even more, right? One of the things we also want to be mindful of is we're leaving this outside in nature, right? Sometimes the wind, rain, the elements of our nature people, you know, little nature guys, right? Sometimes you might come back and it might be broken, right? That might be something we have to live with, right? So let's just make an understanding that when we put things in nature, there's impermanence. It might not last forever. It's a beautiful day. And it really works if you find trees, if you made doors and things like that, to wedge it inside the root of the tree. There are these.
The children scattered across the property, discovering little nooks and trees and hidden corners to set up their scenes and place their creations. They were incredibly proud of what they made, and honestly, so were we. They turned out beautifully. Most of the children didn't even want to stop and were excited to continue this project at home. This was the perfect culmination of our Winter Builders semester. Now, these scenes live on our land, a small village tucked into the forest, a reminder of the imagination and the magic that happens when kids build with nature. Thanks so much for coming along with us this semester. Stay tuned as we kick off spring 2026 next week. And don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Help us spread the spark and get yourself and your kids outside.